السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، حمدا طيبا كثيرا مباركا فيه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وتقا وهدى. Welcome to this presentation, Academic Writing and Presentation Skills. From wherever you're watching this slides, recording slides, I hope you had a great, marvelous day. So in this session, we look at the basic academic writing and presentation skills. So the question, what is the academic English? What is it, academic English? What's that? So academic English is a variety of English language that use in research. So research usually refers to the process of answering research question by creating argument that support critical analysis and use evidence. So there are two types of the academic English. So spoken English, usually refer to the oral presentation, or writing English that's referred to the academic writing. So in this session, I'm going to divide this session into two topics. The first one is the writing skills. The next one, which is the presentation skills. So writing skills, we're gonna look at what is the academic writing, then a general format. After that, we're gonna look at the overall project plan. Reading your notes for your writing. How is useful when you have your note from your supervisor or in your own, and then you're gonna use this one for your writing. After that, we're going to look at the attention on the academic writing. Coherent writing is really important to look at as skills. And then the appropriate writing skills, style and presentation. What I mean presentation here, how to present, the way you present your writing in terms of the in the format. We're going to look at the abstract. It's really important to have a well-written abstract. So we're going to see how you're going to write your abstract. So how you're going to label yours and tables, how are they important? Equations, how to write an equation, referencing. So that's one session. And then we're going to move on to the presentation skills. Let's start with the writing skills. What is the academic writing? Think about it. What is the academic writing? So academic writing is a clear, formal language. So it's clear. There is no slang. Academic writing, you focus in the problem and you address that problems. So answer the question and demonstrate an understanding of that subject. Okay, academic writing. So you give credit to the experts. So the evidence from other research, you have to refer that what you have got from them as a reference. So cite that citation. So use a citation. So demonstrating the knowledge of the subject area. So to support the opinion and the argument with the evidence that used from the other experts. So logical structure, well organized, when it's mean coherent. So the writing in the logical order. Finally, the grammatical correct. If you have all these well managed, well written, what's gonna happen? The reader will enjoy your report. You wanna the reader enjoy your report? Please make it clear, address a problem specifically, give the credit to the experts in that area in terms of the references, logical order, like the coherent is coherent, and then grammatical correct. So of course, like each supervisor has the format of that writing. mean for the EE 491 or 492. So ask your supervisor, where is that format? Follow that format. Okay. So basically, generally speaking, so usually they start with the title page. That's the first page with the title, abstract, acknowledgement, and then table of content, list of table of figures, and then you're gonna look at after the list of figures, we have the main body. So usually the main body starts with the first chapter. We start with the introduction. Okay, so in this introduction, I color this number 2 to 4, that the introduction. So you're gonna start with the general information about your topics. You're gonna give some credit to the previous work, so the other work, so it should be included in that chapter. Okay, what other have done. So from there, like from the chapter 1, I mean, from the introduction, that's the first thing you guys start after the list of figures. In that introduction, we should see that how is your work connected to the previous work. So you're gonna start general idea, general information, very basic, and then you're gonna move on to the. Let's make it like let's give an example. If you work in the wind energy, okay, so you're gonna start with the beginning at the explaining the renewable energy, how is it, right, and then you're gonna move on to the wind energy, okay. From that wind energy, like you might work in terms of the specific issue in that wind energy. Okay, so you're gonna mention that one, what I have done, and then you're gonna, by the end of it, you're gonna explain how is your work connected to the previous work. Okay, so that's from the introduction. Okay, and then when you're done with the introduction and you mention this is your project, you're gonna move on to the. So if you're gonna describe the design of your project. So either using modeling or designing. So that's the next chapter. So as a 491, since it's not the final report, you might mention some result that you get from that work. So that's conclusion, referencing. So please ask your supervisor about that format. He should have that format and follow that format. Okay. Make sure that the introduction has 3 things. First, a general information about the area you're gonna work on. Then next, please give a credit. Give a credit to the other work, like the previous work, expert who done like lots of work in this area. And then third, connect the previous work with your work. How is the what you're gonna do with your project? Then next chapter, we're gonna describe the designs and then the results. So that's generally speaking about your general format. Okay. So overall project plan. So I'm sure like the other professor, like he explained about the project plan. So I'm gonna just explain how is this can affect your writing. So of course you're gonna meet your supervisor from time to time, right? So while you're meeting your supervisor, please read, like make note with him, okay, and write this note. Use use some tools to save. Like you might use the notebook. You might use the electronic device to write these notes. To read the note, and then what you're gonna do some research regarding to this note. He might, like he said, okay, this is the design we're gonna work. So this design, it has some published journal or paper, or maybe from the other students who graduate from our school. He has similar the idea in terms of the in terms of the project. So you can take the note and then do your research from book, previous work, previous other student project. Organize your note. So let's say you divide your note into 3 parts. Okay, so you have note in terms of the background of your area. Okay, you have note in terms of the design of that project. You have note. So if you divide your notes into in this way, so later on, when you start your writing, so if you'd like to have some information about the background, then you can take this information in chapter 1. If you're looking for some information about design, okay, then you have it in note number 2. Then you can have it in maybe chapter 2, chapter 3, whatever the organized. So in this way, so your writing will be more effective. So organize your notes. So identify the key objectives. So after you meet supervisor and then you discuss about the project, of course you're gonna have some objectives. So you're gonna name this objective 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then identify the methods to analyze your project objective. So what kind of method? And there is fine. Okay. So after that, we're gonna start the first draft. So by the time you're gonna start first draft, you have a bunch of information in terms of the note. So that's why I said try to divide your note into 3 or 5, depend about your project. How is the project big? So by the time you start your first draft, you have some information, and then you know the chapter 1, what's from which note you're gonna have it, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then you gotta fill in. Okay, with it, then you're gonna expand the writing. So first draft. When you've done the first draft, please edit it. So leave it, like if you've done the first draft, leave it for 2 days, 1 week, and then come back again, read it again, and edit it. Of course, you're gonna find some mistake. I'm sure about it. And then proof. So proofreading, what I mean that you might like submit this, give your report to your colleague or your friends in other group, not in other group, okay? So I'd ask him to read that's for you. Like, okay, he might find some grammatical mistake. Your supervisor, of course, he will be more than happy to read your report and give you the some comment about it. Okay, so let's move on. So when I said read your device comment and put it in the notes. So if you see that the yellow and the red notes, so that's what I mean. Like if you divide into different notes, like I guess maybe this researcher have the yellow in terms maybe of the models, maybe. And maybe the red in terms of the background. So you can divide it in either way, like 3 parts, 4 parts, and each part it might be connected for each chapter. So later on, you're gonna just fill in the information inside the chapters. Okay. So nowadays with the electronic device, so it's easy to like save. Like you might like create a folder for that project. In that folder, you're gonna create subfolder. For each folder, maybe one for the introduction, one for the design, one for the maybe the result. From time to time, try to write down some information in these folder. Some write, like I mean, some research what they do. So if he has some information to the background, so he write right away in the report. If he has some information in terms of the design, he write this one right away on the chapter 2. So he doesn't, or she, or he doesn't wait until the whole project is completed. So from time to time, just try this way. It might work with you. I believe if you keep your writing with your project from during the terms, I'm sure you're gonna save time by the end of that term. Okay, so things about it: who, what, when, why, and how. Who's gonna write this report? So let's assume if you work with the utility, okay, and if you work with the, let's say, with the operation department, and you and you need to write report for the maintenance, okay. So now this report is going to the maintenance device, maintenance department, right? So you should, since this report is going to the maintenance, so you should think about what they need. So they need maybe some information about this device. Maybe they need some information about that one. They might, so about who is you gonna write intend this writing for. So our capstone project, you're gonna submit it to the department. So our department, we have the professor, we have the students. So all of them, they are in the academic field. So you're gonna, in this way, so you are working with the academic writing. Okay, when you're gonna submit this one, so you have a timeline that you're gonna submit that your project report. Why? So are you writing this? Let's assume, as I mentioned, that's example for the when I mentioned if you work with the utility. So when you submit your report from the operation department to the maintenance, why you writing this report? Okay, and how is the document distributed? So so we're gonna in our department, the distribution usually the electronic files. Okay, this is number one. Number two, identify a section of your project so that you can establish a working timeline. So let's say I'm gonna do some review, lecture review for about maybe 2 weeks. So that's a timeline for that part. Okay, then for 2 weeks, I'm gonna do like reading about the design. How can I design it? 3 weeks, I'm gonna do, so timeline your work, including your writing. So I'm gonna do writing from this time to time. So try to do a deadline for the each task. Draft every day, week. Okay, so that's what I mentioned. Like when I said, if you have some information in the background, okay, just deposit it inside the report right away. So draft every day. If you have some information in terms of design, put it inside in the chapter that related to the design. You might, like, maybe every day is quite hard. Maybe like you have it maybe weekly report. So each week, by the end of that week, you're gonna do some, maybe 1 page, 2 page. In this way, you're gonna make your your journal for that project more effective. Please do not make mistake of thinking that writing means complex, using complex English or wrong sentence. Make it simple. So use the simple writing. Simple writing is the best. Okay. So coherent writing. So when you start your writing, try to be coherent. So starting from introduction, then moving number 2. That's the how is the number 2 is connected to introduction, 3 and then connected to number 2, 4 connected to number 3. So the idea is going smoothly from introduction until the conclusion. Do not use the zigzag. Some of you, that's what I lose the control in terms of the reading. When I read some students' report, and he starts nicely with introduction, number 2, and then with the other idea, and then he move on to the number 5 and also the another points which is not related to number 2, and then he come back to number 3 later on. So try to make your report enjoyable in terms of the writing from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Make it well organized, well connected to each other. Do not jump from point to another point, okay? So avoiding using the first person, like you, I, we. Use the third person. The researcher said, like the researcher found, the expert found, like use the third person. Avoid using the you and I, we, the first person, please. This is like some examples using the like a strong word that make your evidence, make your result like exploring, investigating, discovering, determine, find out, developed, created. So this is just an example. So try to use some word related to the engineers when they investigate. Yeah, okay, that's as a research we investigate about this one. That's what we discover. That's what we explore. Once again, please avoid using the first person, you and I and we. So this is some example that can be used and not limited. So you can say it if you have a result. So that is one of the common mistake among the students. They said, we found out. Why do you say we found? Like, we, as a first person, you make the reader control the interest of reading your subject. So when you said we, then we can think about you, right? Then let's think about your project. Let's say the result. Now we think about your project. This problem. So we're going to think about your project, right? So the result can be seen in table like blah blah blah. This problem has a few like blah blah. So this example, just to avoid using the we and I and we found this one as a common mistake. Please avoid these things. Okay. So let's move on to the abstract. That's what I'm talking about. So you know what happened? Some of the students have a 2-page of abstract. No one gonna read it. Why we need abstract? That's the question. Why we need abstract? Abstract is to guide the researcher. Okay, like for myself. Okay, I'm interested in that research. What am I gonna look at? The title, and the first thing after the title, abstract. If you're abstract about 2 pages, do you think that the reader will take a look into the abstract? So make it short. So like from 200 to 150. So you might think about it. Okay, if it's too short, what I need in this short paragraph or short abstract, what I need? 3 things. Background. So background. So what I mean background, like just 1 sentence, 2 sentences. Like if you are talking about the wind energy, talk about the wind energy generally speaking. Okay, and then specify the problem that you're gonna solve. What is the problem? Okay, and then how to solve that problem, the method, the design, like the model that you use in your project. And then some of you like get some result, just mention a key result. What I mean by key result, you don't need to mention like a number here. No, let's say if your project tend to reduce the cost effective for maybe gas defenses, okay, and you get a good result for that. So you can mention that one here. The result obtained in this study shows that like there is a reduction in. So just a few words, mention the key result of that project. So please summarize your abstract in the 4 things, or make it 3. If you have a result, make it 4. background, a short background, 2 or 3 sentences. Problem, the problem, please, the problem, like you can have like me 3 or 4 sentences. Yeah. Methods, with design, the model that you use in your project, and then the key result. So you can use the so in your project you have a figure and table, right? So please label them. So I'm sure like most of you have an idea how to use the word to use to label the figure and tables. So I'm not gonna explain how you do it. So so you're gonna find. I'm gonna send this slide to you. You're gonna look at how you do it. However, make sure to label your figure and tables. Okay. And if you label your figure and tables, you have to explain that one insert this one inside the contents. So in the contents, like if there is a table 1, table 3, you have to write about it. Some of you, like he just like put some figure and tables, and he put some label. That's good. But he didn't put this one in the contents, like nothing on it. I don't know what's this figure about it, and why it's important to this project. So if you have a figures or a tables, first thing label them, and then write some information about it. The same thing with the equation. So use the equation mathematical tools that in the Word. Do not use the keyboard like 1 + 1. No, there is a mathematical sample in equation. So insert them. And use that equation. This make look more the more engineering styles. Okay. And then referencing. So as I mentioned at the beginning, one of the key points to make your research your report enjoyable, you have to give credit to the other researcher. So as a reference, we need 3 parts: the author names, first and second and the third. You don't need to mention all of them. I'm going to give you an example in the slide. Title of that, maybe article or the paper or the book, okay, and when the publisher, who is published that book or that journal or that, and then in which year. So I'm going to give you as an example, okay. Yeah. By the way, so how are you going to insert this one inside your content? So that's what we use in our school. You're gonna just number the reference, just like number 1 at the end of the sentence, okay? And then later on, by the end of your report, you're gonna have referencing. So by the end of each sentence, you're gonna have this. You're gonna number the reference. This number 1 should be related as the like if you have number 1 here, that should be this one related to the same one you pointed out in somewhere, maybe in background, maybe introduction, maybe the design chapter, whatever. So these are the 3 different publishing, either book, journal article, or even the website. Okay, so names, okay. And then the article names. That's the article. That's the book names. Okay, and then who is the publisher? That's the publisher, obviously, and then which year. Okay, the journal article, the same thing. You're gonna have the names. What is the title of that? What is the title of that journal? And then who published this one and which year? Have website, same thing. Please mention the author of that website. I mean, if you might get some article, from the maybe Wikipedia, okay? So mention the name of that, the author of that article, okay? Including the years, okay? And make sure you embed the link of that website, okay? So with these things, okay, you're gonna have a full report, well written. I'm gonna repeat 3 things that you need to make sure. That's a common mistake. Number 1, please avoid using the first person, you, I, we. Okay. Number 2, please do not use the zigzag style, moving from 1 to 3, 5, and then come back to 2. Make it connected to each other, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Okay. Number 3, label your figure and tables. That's one of the. These are the 3 common mistakes. If you focus on it, then I hope your writing skill will be much better. So okay, so what we're gonna do is you write your draft. That's the first thing. Edit it. So 1 time, maybe 2 times. Another draft. So like if you spend 2 times rewriting this project, and then you will get to go to the proofreading. So try to write it the first time, and then come back to this one after a few weeks, maybe 1 week, maybe, and then do another draft, and then proofreading. So with this, we that's all the information regarding to the writing skills. Now, let's move on to the oral presentation. So oral presentation, let me just say this one before we're gonna start with the oral presentation. If you have a product, okay, and you would like to sell that product, how to make your product interesting? Okay, so that's why we need oral presentation. Make your project very interesting. Okay, how are we gonna do it? So let's start with the agenda information. So a great speaker, they are trained and trained and trained. So you have to practice from 3, 4, 5 times. So a presentation is a skills. So presentation is a skill. So develop through the experience and the training. So you have to do training from 1 to time. Okay. Fear. That's the most common in terms of the brain. So that's fine to get. I mean to get like memory loss or the shaking hand or getting nervous. That's normal. But the abnormal that when you fight that one, like when you fight yourself, I can see maybe you are sweating. Maybe you moving your slides quickly from 1 to 2, like without saying anything. So fear more than death. So what I mean by this one, like عارف المثل يقول لك خلعت الديب ولا قتلته؟ هذا اللي بيصير معنا. That's what happened in presentation. You get scared, like you think about it. So think about this one. Getting nervous, that's fine. That's normal. But the abnormal to fight this one. So how are you gonna avoid this one? So if you have no plan, okay, let's make this one. If you have no backup plan, like what does mean by backup plan? Like small note or card that had some information on that in each slide. Like you might number the slide. Maybe you have 30 slides. Each slide have one card. In each card, maybe you mention some key point and key fact about that number. So anxiety, when it's gonna happen? How is gonna happen? when you have no backup plan. So when you have no backup plan, what happens first? You're gonna fear. You're gonna lose control. After that, you're gonna fight for yourself. Fight, like you're gonna fight, like in terms of the morphing the slide quickly, maybe in terms of the saying some wrong information, and you're gonna lose the focus of intention in your slide. So make sure you have backup plan. Card, small card. That's very effective. Okay. Effective presentation that cannot fight. Do not fight. So control anxiety. Second thing, the audience centers. What do I mean that? Like when you look at the audience, some of you, you should look at the audience. Okay, that's really important. Some of you get scared when the audience look to your eyes. So how are you gonna avoid this one? So, from my experience, if you do any presentation and you think that you might gonna lose the control, look to their head. Don't look to their forget about their eyes. Look to their head. So when they saw you, they know that you are looking to them. You're looking for their head. So that's one of the. You might use this one as the avoid the getting. Fear or get scared of that presentation. Try to achieve the objective. How many objectives? Like you have to achieve that objective 1, 2, 3. Make it fun for the audience. For you, what I mean by fun for the audience. So in terms of the academic writing, like make it fun in terms of the enjoying your presentation. How is colorful? Like you have lots of color using in the maybe in the figures or the tables. So to make it very enjoyable. Okay, like when you point out the red color, maybe for the key result of your result. So it's to me, when I saw this kind of the slides with the has the more colorful. It has the some of the tables, some of the figures. So that's to me is more fun. Make it fun for you. What I mean like fun for you, do not kill yourself. You are the master of that work. You know every single thing from the beginning until the end. And you come to this presentation to teach us. So you came to the presentation to teach us. So if you keep this one in your mind, I'm sure like you're gonna maybe at least maybe 90% of your anxiety or the fear will be gone. Try to make this one, okay? I'm gonna today teach the audience what I learned, what I did, okay? And then make it with the time frame. Like if you have 20 minutes, make it 20 minutes. If you have 5 minutes, make it 5 minutes, okay? So plan your presentation. So determine, specify the purpose of that presentation, okay? Assess your audience. So this is the general information about the presentation. Like if you have presentation for the conference, or maybe in utility. I mean, if you work with the utility and you have presentation for the other department, you need to do define, like to determine the purpose of that presentation. Why? Okay, and then you can assess the knowledge of that audience. Are we have the same knowledge or different? Okay, if someone work in the communication, I'm a power guy. Okay, if someone work in communication, okay, I'm someone work in the mechanical or the industrial. Okay, and then as I'm interested in the power system. When I came to the presentation, my knowledge is going to be in the low level. So as a presenter, if you know that the presenter, I mean the audience, some of them has the the knowledge of level is not connected. I mean low level, then as a good presenter, he should or she should, okay, come to their level in terms of the educate them, okay. So in terms of our capstone project, so we have your supervisor is more knowledge about your project. Some of external examiner, they have some idea. So basically they have like a medium level, okay? And then motivation. So also if you work with the utility, or if you have a presentation in the conference, try to number how many seats you need, how many seating arrangement, the audience, the visual equipment. So in this course, you not you don't need think about it, and then you need to know when at the time of the day to do presentation. Organization. So make sure that each point, like if you have a point in maybe in the background, like make sure each point from 2 to 5 minutes, not more than that one. Some of you, like that's what I found, like in the I think CAPS 2, okay. CAPS 2, we already know the information about your background. I mean, in terms of the project. I found one of the project in CAPS 2. They spend on the background around 12 minutes, and they have like a shorter time to mention their result. So evaluate the main points, how much you need, 2 to 5 minutes, that's a maximum. The evidence, so like make sure that you give credits to the previous work. Transition, use a transition, first, second, move on. To sum up come up with. So this transition word makes the audience follow you in the way that you want. If you didn't mention this transition word, we're gonna lose you somewhere. Okay, so try to make us to move from one slide to another slide using transition word. First, second, move on, second, third, and prepare outline. So at the beginning, you have to have outline. You're gonna do the beginning, second, and third. Okay, so in terms of the presentation, like if you work with the if your presentation may be problem and solution, okay, or cause effect, try to make, if you have this one, try to make your presentation in this batch. So you're gonna start with the problem, define the problem, and then define the solution. What you have done for that problem to solve that, to come up with the solution. The same thing with the cause effect. So that's the cause. What is the effect, and how to solve this one? So try if you have that one in in your project, in terms of the problem, solution, and cause effect. So make the presentation outline keyword reminder, maybe the outline, maybe the background, problems of that, solution of this, the result, the conclusion. More responsible to the audience. That's really important, Shabab. So more responsive to the audience. What happens? Sometimes, if one of the external, let's say an example, one of the external interrupt you, okay, in some point. He asks you about one point that you talk about it, okay, or maybe some point like in the previous slide, okay. So in this case, instead of the give the more responsive to that external, and at the same time you want to be still the idea is connected to each other. What are you gonna do? You're gonna interrupt the presentation. So one of the smart way, you're gonna good. Thank you for the question. Your question is really valuable or great. So let me just finish this point. since this point is connected with the other point, they will come back to your question. Then in this way, your response to him, you continue what you are saying right now. I mean, you're gonna explain and then come back to the question that you need to answer. More responsible. So get attention. So at the beginning of the presentation, try to hook the audience. So since you have the capstone 491, try to make like maybe some statics that's related to your area. Maybe let me just give an example. If you work in the renewable energy, okay, specifically you work about maybe solar energy, you might like bring some figures or tables about how the carbon emission can affect the society and how the solar can help that society to reduce the carbon emissions. So that's now in this way, okay, where we said, okay, you hook us, and then we're gonna follow you in the you make your presentation more interesting. Get the audience response, that's what I mentioned before. Clearly define the topic at the beginning. So today our topic, I mean our project is blah blah blah. Try to define it, and then overview. So try to support the evidence. That's if you find some evidence, try to support it with the maybe graph, figures. So if you find some key result, maybe with a number, try to make it in the table or the figures. Give some example if you have some example, and then attention and focus to the audience. Please focus to the audience. Give them respect. So conclude your work. Okay, so inform the audience that you are about to conclude. What does it mean that? Before you coming to the conclusion, and you know this is like you might have few slides, 1-2 slides, okay, and you might mention that, okay, the final result we get, I mean the final result that we have get from the our project is blah blah blah. So with the name, the final, you make us, okay, you are about to close the presentation. And finally, you mentioned the summary, to sum up your work, you need to mention the main points. So to conclude your work, make sure you have the main point and then answer the question. So make sure about this, the body language, use the body language, eye contact, posture. Use the space like everyone see you, like try to have yourself in a space where can everyone see you, okay? And then movement. So there's some tip that you can use it, like bring your water, like a bottle of water, breathe, try to breathe from one point to another point, try to breathe. Make some notes. That's what I mentioned when you have like a small card. Maybe this card like represented by the number of your slides, and finish it with the time or under the times. Okay. Use it. Of course, you're gonna use the PowerPoint and the pictures. That's the. So thank you, and remember, be proactive. Communicate early with your classmate, supervisor, advisor, even with the faculty member. Get organized and stay organized. If you have any questions regarding to the, especially the writing, okay? I'm gonna send this presentation as a PDF file, and you're gonna have the my email on it, okay? If you have any question regarding to the writing, I will be more than happy to answer. Assalamu alaikum.